Welcome. Today, I want to do an episode, a couple different things I want to talk about. First of all, I thought it'd be fun to do a power ranking. I didn't really like the OSA's rankings too much. I personally disagree with them quite a bit. I know everyone has different rankings, but I thought it'd be kind of fun to do my own power rankings to learn the league a little bit. So I thought I'd maybe go over an episode. I notice a lot of times I'd be like going to trade for a guy and just in my head, or I'd be talking to a buddy in the league or something, and it just the topic always comes up like, oh, you have a guy like you're like, oh, he's probably like a top five catcher, and you don't really think about it, and you kind of like think about the position, who are the top guys, and sometimes it's just like, oh, that guy's actually worse or better than you think he is, just because you don't really actually like do your own lists and some stuff. So I thought it'd be a lot of fun to actually do the rankings. So I did a preliminary rankings. It kind of ranked all the top players at each of the positions, and I have a buddy in the league here who will be on next episode, and we'll kind of do it together. He helped me rank a lot of the positions to make it a little bit quicker. This episode, I just want to get one on, so I didn't want to post like 10 episodes in like a few days and do too many, but I have a lot of free time right now, so I thought it'd be fun to make some episodes. So today I'll just do it by myself with the catchers, and then he'll join me, and we'll do the longer episodes after this one. So thought I'd start today's by showing you a nice little template I made on Excel with the finances. I thought that'd be kind of fun if you want to take a peek at your own finances here. It has most of the stuff that's on Stats Plus for everybody. I copy and pasted, but then I added some custom categories. I made it so you could see this year and last year's payroll, so you could see the differences in case you guys are curious. And then mainly the one I liked a lot was I added the percentage, which is just the category E3 here. So you get the payroll divided by H3, which is the budget. So you get payroll divided by budget. So you can see what percentage of your total budget your payroll is. So if it's like 50% or 70%. So that's kind of a cool thing there. And then a couple other ones, you got the budget minus the payroll. So you can kind of have an idea of which teams have a lot of free money when it comes to the trade deadline. Some of these numbers are a little bit off because I don't think the Stats Plus payrolls count the retain money. So there's one team on here that was like really low, like the Mets, but it wasn't accounting for like $40 million of their retained money. So there's some numbers kind of off, but it gives you a nice little ballpark of kind of what to know if you're going to trade certain guys to teams at the deadline, who has money to retain and who doesn't. Like you said, you can make your own, or you could ask me for the template. It's pretty easy math here. A lot of it's just like you take the categories and minus one from the other, and you just copy paste everything from Excel and from Stats Plus. So it's pretty straightforward if you're decent on Excel. But anyways, that's all I want to talk about there. I'll load the game up for the rest of the episode here. So catcher wise, I'm gonna do. I got my list here on the other screen, so I'll go to that. So catcher wise, I thought I'd start with number 15. I got Jared Jones. Jared Jones is a guy who could rank a lot higher. I personally value catcher defense very highly, and I know in the new game catcher ability isn't as important, and the defense when it comes to actual runs, like it says he's only caused like literally one run this whole season with the framing, and his catcher ERA is actually quite a bit lower than some of the guys above him, and he's thrown out a couple runners this year. So there's probably a good argument to be made that defense just isn't nearly as important for the position, and you probably could make a good argument. Jared Jones is right up there in the top like 3 or 4 catchers in the league. I just personally don't feel super comfortable without like a pretty good defensive catcher. I always figure maybe like it's not true, but maybe in the game it just factors in defense a little bit more. So I just didn't want to rank him too much higher, being only a 45 catcher. I figure that kind of maybe like kind of hurts the pitchers quite a bit and their ERAs. But like I said, I guess not if the catcher ERA is low. But for whatever reason, I just me personally, I just kind of like the defensive guys, so I probably rank it a little bit differently than some of you would, but I can understand people thought he would be quite a bit higher. Next up, I have Jim Green at 14. He's got 60 abilities, a really good base runner, really good contact and gap power. For a catcher, is one of the better bats in the league. Had a really good debut season last year, hitting 281 in the majors, and then this year he's hitting 350 already this season. I know it's small sample sizes, but just shows you the kind of talent this guy is. He could be a really good offensive catcher, some solid defense there. The arm's not super strong, but the catchability is pretty decent. Still young there, still not nearly as catcher defense potential there, so he probably could be a little bit higher in this list in a couple seasons. Next up at number 13, I got Kyber Ruiz. Kyber Ruiz is a guy who's just like the last guy we showed, just a little bit better defensively, quite a bit stronger arm, and a little bit higher ability. Not quite the runner, but he's also got really good contact. Has a little bit of pop in his bat too. 16, 11 home runs last 2 seasons. Guy's got really nice skill set. He's a switch hitter. So Ruiz is really, really nice catcher. Always know the park. They always seem to like him. Next up, we have Patrick Bailey at number 12. Patrick Bailey is one of the better all-around catchers. He does everything well. He can hit well. He has a bunch of ISO with eye and power. He's got really good base running, one of the best running catchers in the league. He's a captain, high leadership, work ethic, and he has really solid catcher arm and pretty decent ability. And he's a switch hitter, so it's literally just every single thing you want in a player. Pretty much got like a 5-tool catcher, which is super rare. 5-tool player can do everything: hit for contact, power, pretty good runner, pretty good defense, pretty good arm. So just a real special talent there. Antonio Gomez is number 11. Antonio, unfortunately, is out for the season, but he's had a really beastly career so far. Had really positive seasons every year till last year. He's got 100 home runs already in his career before the age of 30. Really solid offensive catcher. Can run very well. He has 32 stolen bases in his career. He has a 75 base running, so really, really sick for a catcher that can move around like that. Got a crazy arm, best in the league, 80. Absolute rifle in real life. In the game, if it was real, to see that 80 arm would be really cool. If you look at the runners thrown out percentage, you get like high 30s every single season. He was at 43 and 40 the last couple of years, throwing out like 30 base runners. So just unreal. Pass balls are a little bit high, but his 60 ability is 70 defender because that arm's so high. But it's a really solid offensive profile too. Like I said, he had the one down year, but he's had a bunch of years where his on-base percentage is pretty decent, around 300 for a catcher. So just anyways, he's kind of got everything you look for. Just it'd be a flashy catcher to watch in real life with that arm power. Gab Moreno here is I'm a Jays fan in real life. I love Gabriel Moreno. Gabe Moreno has a really solid bat for a catcher. He hit 270 the last couple seasons, had 19 home runs last year and 2.6 WAR. Really, really solid. 109 OPS plus for a catcher is really high, and he's a solid ability arm guy too. So he is actually up here because he's performed so well the last few seasons. Ratings wise, he's probably not quite as good as some of the guys behind him, like Pat Bailey and Kyber Ruiz, especially. And it just seems like he produces really well though every single season. He's just been solid. So I just liked his. Maybe a little bit of bias because I'm a Jays fan. So those guys are all pretty close though. Next up, we have my old boy here, my boy Kyle Teel. Kyle Teel at number 9. Kyle Teel is 65 ability, high intelligence. I love it. Another guy that's an awesome base runner at catcher, which is kind of funny. Last season he had a beastly year. It hit 270, had a 100 OPS plus around there, 3 WAR, 11 home runs. Really, really solid. Just really solid at everything. This year he's hitting 260 again. He's in a contract year. I'll probably put him on the block soon if any of you guys are interested. He is coming up here on his big free agent year, so it'd be a nice little rental for a few months for a contending team. Top 10 catcher in baseball, in my opinion. So really just solid all around. Really good eye, really solid offensive profile, really good runner, and really good defender. So just has everything you look for. One of the best all around catchers in the league. Next up, we have a guy, Jorge Noriega, is nasty. The guy's at 75 avoid K, 65 contact. He's a high leader, high intelligence. He's not having a tremendous season this year. He doesn't really have any power, and he's running really bad on the base pass with a 28 ratings. But, I mean, a catcher that can hit that well, like the guy hit 320 in AAA, and then he debuted, hit 300 last year. So it's just a guy, I know some of the stats aren't there, and like I said, he has absolutely no power whatsoever, 0 home runs. But guy that when you have a catcher that's only has a 106 WRC plus and 93 this year, doesn't strike out at all, isn't like a total black hole at the bottom of your lineup. If you have a guy that hits 300, like hitting in your 8-9 hole, you're pretty set. So with that and this decent catchability and the high leadership and stuff, I just liked a lot about his game. So I actually ranked him above Teel. At the number 9 spot, even though Teel had a lot higher WAR last season. I didn't want to seem biased towards my own boys, but no, I really do like Noriega's profiles. Like I said, I think he's a solid number 7-8 hitter. Sean Murphy is Mr. Consistency. I got Sean Murphy at number 7. The dude's got really nice profile. Looks a lot like Pat Bailey, just a little bit better defensively, a little stronger arm, a little higher ability. Not quite the runner of Pat Bailey, but pretty much the same offensive profile where you get the 55s and the home run and eye, and then the little bit lower contact. So this guy's had a really, really nice career here. He's had 25 career WAR as a catcher, which is nasty, almost 200 career home runs. And the dude is just consistently hitting 230 every single year for the last 4 years. Played on in the AL his whole career there with Boston and New York. Just a really interesting player, just really solid all around, consistent. So I liked him. I thought he deserved to be up there with how good of a career he's had. Ivan Herrera here is at number 6. Herrera is a 55 contact, 55 home run power, 55 eye catcher. Really nasty offensive profile. Best offensive profile we've seen so far. Dude at 100 OPS or WRC plus the last couple seasons. Just a really, really good power bat, too. The guy has 142 career home runs, 22 home runs last year, 15, 22, 19, 22. So just crazy. He's hit 22 home runs like half the last 6 years. The dude's takes a lot of pitches, too. Really good eye. He's over 4 pitches per plate appearance here, as you can see. Really nasty from a catcher to give you that kind of production in the make the other pitchers work pretty hard there and give him a tough at bat at the end of your lineup there. So really, really cool player there. And been really good fit on St. Louis there. So if you look at his career, just 20 career WAR, 30 years old here. So high work ethic, solid defender, everything you look for there. Danny Jansen is next on my list at number 5. Danny Jansen is unreal in FTD. He's got 70 ability, really solid runner, really solid balanced offensive profile, pretty much 45 and 50 and everything. The guy had the biggest year last year so far, 4.2 WAR. Look at these seasons, 33 career WAR, 36 years old veteran now, still pretty much the second best season of his entire career when it comes to statistics last season. He had 286 batting average, which is the highest he's ever had if you look at all those seasons. He's on base 3680 or 3680 on base percentage there. So just a crazy season. He lost a little bit of ratings from the new game, bumped him down 10 and I don't know if that was just the new game changing or if it was actually a little bit of regression or my scout was off or whatever it was, but still really solid profile. Probably down to his last couple of years here, though. Hopefully, he doesn't start falling off even more. It looks like his stats have fallen off a bit this year, so we'll see with the updated scouting report next time. But looks like he's hanging on here, and I still got him as a top 5 catcher in the league. Next up, I have Drew Romo. Drew Romo, I think, is the best defensive catcher in the game, so I got quite a bit of a bump on him because of that. He plays in core, so his offensive stats have been pretty solid too. He hits 250 for a catcher. Had a couple home runs last year. Decent runner, really elite captain mental stuff though with the high leadership work ethic and the 80 ability. Won the World Series. Playing in Colorado is really tough for a catcher. But as you can see, his catcher ERA is in the low 4s, had some high 3s there a couple of years. So just a guy who's probably going to win some more Gold Gloves too. Just a really nasty all-around player. Just love that 80 ability with 65 arm, 80 defender at catcher. So just love the guy. Like I said, that's such a good all-around player. He's got a 45 bat with some nice gap power. Has such nice elite running for a catcher. Just loved his profile. So I figured he, with all things considered, the bat wasn't too far behind those guys that are ranked like 5 to 10, but his defense is just so elite. I thought he deserved, especially he won a World Series last year, I thought he deserved to be up there for sure. Next up, we have Joey Bart. These top 3 guys where you start to notice the difference in the bats. You got the really elite bats at the top here. You got 60 power out of Joey's Bart here, 2 and 23 home runs last 2 seasons, 45 home runs over those 2 years. He had almost 3 WAR last year, 109 WRC plus in a real tough park to hit home runs in San Francisco. They are that's tricky there. So that guy could probably hit 30 home runs in some stadiums. He's a captain. He's got everything you look for. Fly ball hitters, can run the bases pretty well for a catcher. Good contact, extremely popular. Just a really beast player. He's not hitting great this year, but I'm sure he'll bounce back, striking out 34% of the time. Just the BAPIP's been really low this year compared to last year's, about 30 points lower. So we'll see if he can bounce back and get his batting average back up to close to where it was last year. Just with all that power and defense and all-around skill, he's a top 5 catcher for sure. Number 3 on the list, actually. And then number 2, we have Juan Sierra. Juan Sierra is got the coolest nickname, Big Kahuna. The dude has absolutely no power whatsoever, but he's got such elite contact and such elite defense. The guy's a 70 defender with 70 ability at age 27. He's in his prime here. He's got 80 contact and 80 avoid K versus righties, which is insane. Has a bunch of gap power too, so he makes up for his low home run power. He actually has a 118 ISO, which isn't terrible. It means he hits some doubles, even though he has no home run power. The guy is just so good all around. And like I said, the combination with that kind of batting average, the guy hit 318. The guy hit 326, 346, just insane 5 WAR season a couple years ago there. So when you have a career 315 batting average, like some Buster Posey shit, with that elite of defense and you're in your prime at 27 years old, it's too bad he's wrecked, but he's done a good job staying healthy so far this season for the most part. We'll see if he can hang on, but talent-wise, man, he's good. And then number 1, which isn't a big surprise coming from a Baltimore fan. I thought it was deserved, though. Adley Rushman is just insane. Adley has the best offense profile by a mile of any catcher. he has major power there. He's hit like 42 home runs the last 2 seasons and only has a couple this year, but still on pace for 12. Guy's got a 131 WRC plus this season. It was just insane. 125, 112 the last couple of years. He is unbelievable at everything he does. He's a good runner, great defender, great arm, great ability, great eye, great. He's just like essentially just a freak. 33 years old, making 35 million a year, and he definitely deserves it. It's interesting to see what his contract situation will be. It's all up to him after this. He has all the leverage. Guy's got a player opt out, and then he's got 2 player options. So the money jumps down quite a bit from 35 to 25. So he might be a free agent this year. He's so elite, he probably is worth like 28, 30 million a year over like 4 or 5 years in his mid to late 30s. Just even if he falls off, like say his contract went down to 45 or 50, and his avoid K went down 10, he'd probably still be worth like 30 million because how good defensively and running he is. And then if he still had like 55, 60 power, that's still probably worth like 25, 30 million a year just with how good he is and how few good offensive catchers are in the league. So the guy, even if you expect some regression there, it's like, oh, he's good. So it'd be real nice for the Cubs if they could hold on to him there for 25 the next 2 years. That seems like a good length before he falls off. A lot of guys fall off at age 35, 36, but you never know. He's so elite. He could hang on till 37, 38, but right now he's still the best catcher, and it isn't all that close. He's quite a bit above Sierra and Bart, in my opinion. Um, yeah, he's just a really special player. So, anyways, that's it for the catchers. I'll end this episode. Like I said, I have a bunch coming. I thought if you guys are interested, I'll probably do an episode with 2 position groups at a time. We'll have a guest on next episode and probably go over like first base and second baseman and try to do nice like 20-minute, 15-minute episodes. So if you guys are interested, hopefully you enjoy this series. I'll try to do each of the positions and all the pitchers and everything. So we'll see you again probably tomorrow. Cheers, guys.